While we were waiting for everyone to arrive to our April new mentor meeting, everybody went to the Poll Everywhere survey and reflected. Looking back, how did their year go? And I'm asking you to add to this word cloud by going to Padlet. The link will be in your Google Classroom, and you can go and add to the word cloud by sharing your feelings or thoughts about how your year went. Okay? This is what we have so far. And if we look at the word cloud, we see that people said things like the year went by fast and it was challenging and there was a lot of stress. But if you look at the other words around it, so those words all have like connotations of angst. But if you look around it, there's also a lot of words that talked about beginning, invigorating, hopeful, always, next, forward, incredibly, unpredictable, resilient, stronger. Those are words that are so positive. And so that's really exciting to know that although the year was stressful and although the year was challenging, there's still a lot of hope out there and a lot of positivity. And so that's where our mentors are, and that's how they're the message, I hope, that is being sent to the new teachers. So please help yourself to add on to this and see how the word cloud changes. And it will be active for the next 30 days. So from today's date, April 22nd, so you can add to it. And please, we'll see how it changes and what effects that your contribution might make to the composition of this. So this is the 2022 April new mentor meeting, the home stretch. Okay, so if you see this icon, there's like bunches of lists and notes and thoughts and feelings, but I wanted you to take a time to reflect. So, and to also give you some time for what, to explain to you how, the end of the year closes off with your mentoring and your mentee. So today's targeted outcomes are that mentors will practice their mentoring language by sharing challenges and brainstorming solutions together. But because you're viewing this on a video, you're going to be looking at what other people have posted and you'll be doing your own reflections. We're going to discuss how reflecting helps teachers and students. Look at Google Classroom, the sections for the end of the year and the protocols for the end of the year, and then maybe just some nuts and bolts that may or may not need to be addressed. Okay, so you already did one activity thinking about, how your year went. And what we're going to do is a little connector right now, and you will be practicing your mentor language or looking at other people's mentoring language through sharing ideas and brainstorming together. And it's kind of hard to do that togetherness when you're watching this video, on your phone or whatever. But we're going to ask you to also, again, allow you to contribute. And this is how I'm going to take role, or I'll your accountability piece. So you need to attach your name to this, okay? So you're going to use a Padlet, and you're going to go to the Padlet, and the link will be in your Google Classroom. And I want you to think, what does just-in-time mentoring, if we're talking about the term just-in-time mentoring, what does that mean to you? Okay, so I want you to think that and make sure your name's on it and add to the Padlet. Okay, then you're going to read this article, How to Refine Your Teaching Practice with Springtime Reflections. And then when you're done with that reading, I would ask you to go back and revisit the Padlet and see if you are interested in adding anything to either your observations or your reflections that you did earlier or to somebody else's. Okay, so that's kind of a two-step thing, a pre and a post, so I'm going to ask you to do that. And that gets you thinking about the just-in-time mentoring that you did with your teachers, or maybe the just-in-time mentoring that you needed to help you be a better new mentor that I may or may not have provided for you. So that being said, we're going to be looking at the last inquiry and where it fits into Google Classroom. So it is in section 4 of Google Classroom, and it looks like this. And you're going to be in classwork in section 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to be in section 4. That's the whole last inquiry cycle right there. And then section 5 has the end of the year requirements. And remember, your Google Classroom looks just like the teachers, except the teachers, some of the directions are different. Your directions are, as a mentor, you're going to be doing this. And the teacher's Google Classroom will say, your mentor will help you with this. Okay. And then you'll do the tools and you'll give them to your teachers and they will upload them. Remember that you do not need to be uploading any of these things, but you have to have it so that you know how to guide them through the program. And the other thing I wanted to show you and share with you is that, remember, you're completing the ILP for your candidate, but down at the very bottom of the ILP, excuse me, there is a cheat sheet kind of a thing, and that is to help you, it's like a checkoff list, and to help you keep track. So you'll be back here in section 4 on that, and there's directions on these too, and notes, a place for you to be able to take notes. And then down here, the end of the year requirements too. Okay, so I wanted you to be able to see that and know that those are there to help you. And that's where we're going to be working through with your candidates, finishing up the inquiry cycle and the end of the year. So the specific things for the end of the year requirements are, remember, you're going to be doing 5.1, the end of the year post co-assessment. And the post co-assessment is where it's just what it says or sounds like. You're going to take all the pre-co-assessments you did in Inquiry 1, Inquiry 2, and Inquiry 3, and you're going to put them all on one document for your candidate, and then lead your candidate through those post co-assessments. And it might be stressful to do them all in one meeting. You know, you might want to break it up into 2, because a lot of times there's a lot of conversations that come along, like, oh, remember when you did this, or remember when you did that, and you'll elicit from your candidate that evidence, those evidence pieces that help them say, oh, you know what, I am doing this regularly. I went from applying to integrating, you know, maybe, or something, or see where that would apply, and then highlight and date that second co-assessment, the post co-assessment. So you're going to be doing that. I do not have a sample. There is a sample in Google Classroom under 5.1. And then there's 5.2 is the end of the year Flipgrid reflection that the teacher candidate, or excuse me, yeah, the induction candidates will be doing. And then the end of the year evidence of practice affidavit, which I've gone through all the people who've attended the spring focus meeting. I've gone through all these with them, so they should be familiar with it. It is also in their Google Classroom, and there are directions and explanations. You know, if you click on it and open it up, they're there for you and yours, and they're there in their Google Classroom for them. And then there's also for the people who are the early completion, or the people who are year 2s, they will be completing a 41.4 credential application and uploading it to Google Classroom. They will not be submitting it to the CTC themselves. I will be doing that electronically. So they just need to have that there so I can get that information up when I make their recommendations. So I wanted to share with you a little bit the Flipgrid reflections to see what the requirement is and what it looks like. And this is asking the candidates to do their own reflecting. And we're going to ask them to share some of this stuff at the colloquium. We're not doing exit interviews, and there's no culminating activity, but the ability to think and be mindful and thoughtful about what they did this year, and to be able to share it with other people other than just their own mentors is a good practice. And they'll do it here also through the Flipgrid activity. So what I wanted to do is show you what it looks like, the Flipgrid. Let's see if it comes up. Okay, it says this isn't ready for sharing. Ask your group lead for more details. So I will need to go in there. Let me try doing this. I'm gonna open it up, and then I'm gonna let you see what one of them the assignment looks like, and then I'm gonna show you what one of them looked like from last year. Okay, because they're really cool. Okay, here we are at the Flipgrid assignment. And this one is an example for the 21-22 year one induction candidates. And if you look and see what the directions are, well, we'll click on it, and then you'll see I'm looking over there because my screen's over there. So the end of the year reflections are in a short 2 to 3 minute video reflection. Please describe their teaching assignment. What was their overarching SMART goal? How does the evidence of practice submitted, so all the tools and everything that they did with you, how do those pieces that they submitted demonstrate what they've learned about their own teaching practices? And how do they feel that their goal and participation in induction impacted students' learning and their own learning too, and students' learning? So then if we go back to groups, so that's what we're asking them to do. And let me show you one, let's see, from last year. 86 responses. Get them load. This is just totally random, so I'm going to see what that looks like, okay?
Hi everyone. So my teaching assignment was in my moderate to severe special education class at Ayala High School. And my goal this year was to be able to implement and maintain new strategies. So that would be like mainstreaming, technology, community involvement, to help my students gain better independent living and social skills. So how I did this with COVID was I just started incorporating new technologies. So we started using News2You and Unique Learning System, online resources. We did online classes with general education. So we would pop them up on Zoom and do like scavenger hunts and everything. And then we also did community field trips. So I would put a place on the projector, and they would have comprehension questions and have to do little scavenger hunts within that, just to kind of make it interactive, but so that way they still felt like they were getting to see outside of the classroom. And because of induction, I felt like I was able to look a little bit deeper into how I can better support my students while implementing new technology strategies, and just kind of go into more detail, which was really nice. It kind of slowed things down for me, and I didn't feel so stressed and rushed, which was great. And I felt like the students really took to it well. They were very open-minded and patient with me as I tried new things with them, and I think that they really seemed to actually like how I implemented more technology and kind of interactive activities, whether it be through like boom cards or different games through News2You, and it just kind of provided them with new ways to learn the same end goal. So I thought overall it was super helpful, and I loved induction. So that's basically it.
So that's an example of the Flipgrid requirement, of a response to one. So I hope that you found that as cool as I do, and that's kind of, the sort of thing that we're expecting or hope to see from the candidates that you've worked with, and I hope they all say, oh, I love my mentor and I learned so much from him or her, and that sort of a thing. So that's usually what we get is, the induction part was okay. The best part was my mentor. And just so you know, the teachers really do appreciate you guys. They might not always say it, but they do. Okay. And then anyway, so then this is kind of it, wrapping it up. For the end of the year, please try to have all the candidates complete their submissions by May 13th. The colloquium is going to be on the 14th of May. It's a Saturday from 11 to 2. It'll be a luncheon. It's going to be at the PDC. And I've put in Google Classroom and sent out the RSVP or the, asking you to Let me know if you're going to be there or not. It is for year 1, year 2, ECOs and candidates, for everybody. And so it's a time of celebration, and we're going to ask the candidates to share a little bit. We'll do an activity where they're doing a little bit of sharing about their induction experience. So, but we've done these things to help prep them so that they are being mindful and thoughtful about and reflective about what it is that they did in induction and how they've grown as professional educators. Okay, and the reason I need an RSVP is so I have an idea of how many people are coming, because there will be lunch involved. There's always food involved, but if we know how many people are coming, it's helpful. So I hope as many of you as possible will be able to come. And then to wrap this up, I just wanted to throw out a couple of inspirational quotes to help you reflect on your mentoring experience. And think of your impact that you've had on your new induction candidate teachers, and thinking that teaching is really about inspiration, not information. Effective teaching focuses on why and how, not what. The goal should be to spark each student's imagination, to find a hook in their heart and mind so that they feel a need to learn the material. And you as mentors working with adults have been working to put the hook in your teacher candidate's heart, and to help inspire them to be the very best educators that they possibly can. And educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. And even when you go back full circle to that word cloud at the beginning and thinking, remember, there were words that showed stress, but there were also words that showed strength and resiliency and hope. So, it's a circle. Anyway, thank you very much. Have a good rest of your school year, and make sure your name goes in the Padlet, because that's the only way you're going to get credit for having viewed this. But also, I hope to see you at the colloquium. Okay? Thank you very much, and have a good day.